episode for Discover the Finger Lakes, episode 10. We are walking on Fort Hill Trail or Granary Trail near Ganongadon, and there's a historic site up here. This is going to be our first video segment. Also, Brady will be on the first segment with me, and then the rest will be just me. We still got some snow to deal with, but that's okay. We hope you enjoy episode 10. And also, not just one trail, we have two trails we're doing. Two trails and a museum, so we hope you enjoy. In Seneca, Gahay-Unduk means there was a fort there. In the 17th century, the Seneca stored thousands of bushels of dried corn in a palisaded enclosure here. The fort was burned by a French force under General Denonville of Canada in 1687. An old trench still encircled the brow of the hill in the 1840s. Burnt posts of the original palisade were exposed by a washout of the east slope in 1890. Fort Hill Trail is a 2.1 mile lightly trafficked loop trail located near Victor, New York. The trail is good for all skill levels and primarily used for hiking and mountain biking. Dogs are also able to use this trail but must be kept on a leash. fortifications were made of oak logs, perhaps 13 feet long and sunk 3 feet into the ground. The palisade ran for 800 paces in a rough oval. At the northwest corner of the mesa, we find a natural entrance, a gradual slope which connects the crest to the lowland. The Seneca could use this area as a refuge in the event of an enemy attack. This site is the fortification, which is not primarily a dwelling place but a granary. The amount of corn discovered here speaks of the complexity and development of the Seneca economy. It is clear from descriptions of the granary that this was a major depository of corn, and that from here grain was transported to towns within the Iroquois Confederacy and quite possibly to those of other Indian nations. Something very interesting you might be interested in, and we're going to show you this view here in a second. But here's a map of different forts in the area. Now here is a tidbit you might find really cool, is that on a clear day you might be able to see Bear Hill from a vantage point. Now you remember this was the place we went to hike and went to the bonfire with the Seneca Indians. What a great place to visit and hike and see some really, really wonderful scenic views. Go there sometime. The Museum of Wayne County History provides an invaluable service to the region by featuring stores of local artists, businesses, wartime histories, canal life, and culture from the county's heritage. The stories told here are fascinating, but the building itself has a story of its own. Prior to 1960, this building served as the county jail. Okay.
And this is actually where they hanged a man, William Fee. Fee was a canal worker, and he and his friend Muldoon, I guess, saw a unknown woman traveling through Clyde, and they had their way with the woman. And she turned up dead the next day. So Fee and Muldoon actually escaped the area and were caught down in Pennsylvania and New York, where they were found and brought back here for trial. They put Fee on trial and with very little evidence found him guilty and sentenced him to hang. So March 23rd, 1860, there was a procession coming up Church Street. They had the gallows down there at the courthouse for inspection, then they brought them up here. They put the gallows right here in this cell block. 2,000 people appeared outside wanting to see the hanging. They gave 200 tickets away. This is a replica ticket.
Okay.
200 of these were given away, and they let 200 people in to see the hanging. So right there is part of the crossbeam that was used in the gallows. Okay. And that particular type of gallows was not the, kick the bucket and the guy swings, but cut the rope, the weights go down, and Fee was launched into eternity, as they say. So then Jerry Collins, who was a sheriff here for 50 years, sheriff and deputy sheriff, had this chair made with the wood from the gallows, and he kept it in his office, I think, to deter crime. This would have been used in the courthouse, but we had no room for it anywhere else but here, so that would have been the prisoner's docket. This is original prisoner artwork on the walls. Okay. And we had this system installed about 15 years ago to try to preserve the walls because it's pencil, and they're not really sure what they could spray on it to conserve it. So, in any case, this here is Dorothy Debussy. Dorothy Debussy was a fine, upstanding woman of the community in Lyons. She was a churchgoer and a cake baker and an Irish woman who I guess was having some problems with her husband because she shot him dead on the lawn one day. Well, Dorothy was put on trial, and she was given 2 to 5 on manslaughter charges, right? Not so with our lovely Rosa Lacco over here. Rosa Lacco was an Italian immigrant who in the 1930s found out that her daughter was being molested by the daughter's father-in-law, a Mr. John DeBatz from Soda Center. And so Rose went over there to have a conversation with Mr. DeBatz and ended up stabbing him dead. Well, Rose was put on trial, and she was not given a translator. She didn't understand English very well, and they gave her 20 years at Auburn Prison. Very similar crimes of passion. Very different outcomes for the Irish woman in the 1950s or the Italian woman in the 1930s.
Yes. Sheriff's office room, you will find something really interesting, a collection of guns and knives that they have confiscated from convicts throughout all the years of the jail. Their current exhibit shows terrifying treatments, the dark side of medicine. I found this room to be very interesting. There is tools that doctors used years ago to treat different ailments. There's all types of medicines and herbal medicines that they used years ago, crude methods that they use, like electroshock therapy. Very interesting. In October of last year, a film crew shot footage in Sodus Bay at Charles Point, where the Norse spearhead was found in 1929 by Augustus Hoffman as he was making repairs on his boathouse. The spearhead then came to reside with the Wayne County Historical Society. A child's bedroom. The furnishings for the bedroom were almost exclusively donated by the estate of Robert Baumler. The bed, dresser, and armoire once used by the family of Lyons depict a lifestyle that has long since passed into history. The dolls here have papier-mâché, bisque, or china heads, and Dolly's wardrobe copied the fashions of the times. Doll furniture was made from wood, not plastic like so many of today's toys. Many of the treasured toys that survived the generations of play were made at home. The Clyde Glass Works was one of the earliest glass houses in western New York. It was built to manufacture hand-blown glass for many settlers moving westward. The Wayne County Historical Society has one of the finest representative collections of Lyons pottery in the state. The military room offers artifacts from World War I, World War II, Civil War, and the Revolutionary War. H.G. Hotchkiss, prize-winning metal essential oil company founded by Hiram Gilbert Hotchkiss in 1839 in Phelps, New York. 1841, the business had moved to Lyons to the near the Erie Canal. The blue glass bottles were made in Clyde, and the peppermint oil was made in Lyons and shipped to Germany. It was a nice visit to the Wayne County Historical Museum. A special thanks to Larry and Evans for a great tour. We are sure to return in next season. actually Mary Frances Bluebird Haven Trail. Don't know a whole lot about the trail in the area, but it's to me it seems like it's a very nice place. Hiking in the cold. Hope everybody's not tired of seeing the snow. But here's some more information about this area. Bluebird Haven Trail is a 1-mile loop trail located near Victor, New York, and is rated as moderate. The trail is primarily used for hiking, walking, and trail running, and is accessible year-round. Dogs are also able to use this trail but must be kept on a leash. Welcome to the nature preserve known as the Mary Frances Bluebird Haven. This land was donated to the town of Victor in November 1996 for the use as a bluebird sanctuary by Robert Butler in memory of his wife Mary Frances. This site has become an active breeding site for bluebirds and a living classroom with an emphasis on preservation and restoration of New York's official state bird. The surface is mowed meadows and woodland paths. What a wonderful, peaceful hike in the snow. Come and enjoy Bluebird Haven Trail near Victor, New York. All right, that is the end of episode 10. We really had a lot of fun. And all the snow and everything, and the place that we, the first video segment, we went to the Great Hill, or not the Great Hill, but the Granary Trail was fun. Then you had the museum, and then Blue Haven Trail. So, also, remember to like us on Facebook, on our Facebook page. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe if you haven't done already. And also, we're on Instagram. We show pictures on Instagram. So, we will see you all next month, in the month of April, for another episode. Bye. Next time on Discover the Finger Lakes. We take you to Canandaigua to a couple of historical locations you might or might not known about. Then we go hike 2 trails and also possibly a special guest. Who says we're not adventurous? We just came down this hill right here. And
it's steep.
Snow covered and it's steep. Who else would have done that?
A lot of people will see like that.
Brady wanted to take a shortcut, so that's what we did.